could also come in and try to organize these workers. And it also doesn't stop the UAW from trying to organize other plants, other companies here in the Southeast, something they've been trying to do and have thus far been unsuccessful. Back to you.
Rich Edson in Chattanooga, thanks very much. For more on what this vote means for the future of unions and the car industry here in the U.S., Lauren Fix, the car coach, joining us on the phone, and Philip Dine, author of The State of the Unions, is in Washington, D.C. Folks, good to talk to both of you. Lauren, I want to go to you first. Volkswagen really bent over backwards to give the UAW every chance to get representation. The fact that they lost against a company that was almost trying to help them in their unionization efforts, does that mean UAW doesn't have a chance of getting it at any foreign car plant here in the U.S.?
Well, the truth is we kind of hope that they don't. Not from an automaker's standpoint, you want to be competitive, and part of the competition is being able to be non-union and have a little bit more flexibility. But I think what the real nail in the coffin, shall we say, was, and VW was totally neutral, and they're used to dealing with these different types of unions in other countries. But the fact is that neutrality agreement, I think, was the real nail in the coffin for them. Because what it would have done, essentially, according to the people that have read this contract, is that it would have reduced their pay by $3 per hour over their current pay. And nobody wants to take a loss, especially in this economy. And I think that was a big factor. And I think it's also, they tried this also in the Mercedes plant in 2001, and they failed. So this is another issue that we may come across again, but I don't think they're going to get any headway.
Philip, what about U.S. companies? There are only really two big ones now, Ford and GM. Do they benefit in any way, maybe from union concessions because of this loss for the UAW?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I think there's a bit of an irony here. We're talking about American companies being able to be competitive by not being union, but here we have a German company that's doing very well, that's wall-to-wall union in Germany, and they're expanding here. As far as American companies, I think they may benefit a little bit indirectly because the UAW obviously would have been stronger had they been able to start making inroads with foreign companies.
Well, Lauren, what about Philip's point that, hey, look, the unions over in Europe do very well for the companies that they work for, and GM and BMW and Mercedes, they're all very competitive, and they're all unionized.
That's true. I mean, but I think that the people have spoken. I mean, the VW Group as a whole, which obviously is Audi and other brands, VW, Skoda, Fiat, I mean, there's so many of them, they've really been understanding and working with their employees, and employees didn't want to take a risk that this would happen. So what the other gentleman's saying does make sense, that's for sure, but I think the UAW here is different than the unions that are in place in other countries. Right. And part of this is the lesson that American labor is not helping build jobs. And I think consumers are really afraid, not consumers, but employees are very afraid of that.
By the way, Richard Trumka, the head of the AFL-CIO, has said that this is just a minor setback, Philip. I'm wondering if he's sort of soft-pedaling the blow to the unions by this.
Yeah, look, going back to the point that was just made, American companies, what's different here is that German companies may be more neutral, maybe more understanding that unions can help. And let's also remember that a swing of 44 votes would have turned this around. And the thing I'd like to get...
Well, yes, but hold on a second. It was still a 60-40 vote. I mean, 60% for in any kind of political race, that's pretty decisive, right?
Except that it was 712 to 626. I don't think that's
still 60-40. At any rate, let's not go over that. What about the union movement in general? I mean, this has got to be a blow not only to UAW, but to other unions here, right?
I think the union movement is a bit of a loser here. The other big loser, I think, are Republican politicians who normally preach that government should stay out of the private sector, stay out of labor management relations. Here, they're threatening, they're coercing, they're intimidating, they're saying things that weren't even true, that even Volkswagen denied. And furthermore, a state senator in Tennessee said that the state would withhold incentives for the company to expand if the workers voted union. What is that all about?
Well, I know, but in the heat of the battle, you know how these things work, Lauren Fix. Yeah. We always have, during these battles, really exaggerated charges on both sides. I've heard some stuff come out of unions during these battles that are just ridiculous as well. But the question, Lauren, of whether what unions did to the auto industry here is significant. It's not just historic because the memory of the workers clearly played a role in their vote. Did the unions, can you actually blame unions for having messed up the U.S. auto industry?
Well, you know, I guess at some point, if we go back in history, it really, truly was a benefit to be a part of the UAW. They really were great with the workers and making sure that they got treated fairly, fair wages and great benefits. And at the time when they were formed, that was the way to go for any worker. It was absolutely a benefit. And may have not been a benefit for the manufacturers, but they had to start treating them fairly if they expected to get good results and good product. But now things have changed, things have evolved. We've all learned on every side, both the UAW and the people that are against the unions. And when you know about all the threats back and forth and what this other gentleman is saying, but the National Labor Relations Board is there in place.
That's
and we
true.
have rules that we have to follow, and there's nothing we can get around that. But as far as the UAW and what has happened in Detroit, nobody wants to see a repeat of that. No one wants to put themselves behind the 8 ball. And because the South typically has lesser paying jobs, now these better paying jobs are there, nobody wants to take a risk. And that's why there's so many plants in the South. And you look at all the Germans are bringing, you've got Hyundai, you've got Nissan, Volkswagen, BMW. And if they can't build here, they're going to move to Mexico and we're going to lose the job.
Well, they're more likely to build here now. And by the way, the NLRB can be accused of many things under the Obama administration.